What's up, everybody? It is Split Slate Thursday. Time to do two slates for the price of one. Thanks for following me, MLB DFS Made Easy. I'm your buddy Chapadong. Of course, always brought to you by DFSArmy.com. One-stop shopping, all things daily fantasy sports. Consider becoming a VIP down there in the description. Click the link, use the coupon code SHOP. While you're there, like and subscribe the video, turn your notifications on. That doesn't cost you anything. That's not too much to ask. That you help me, if you want to see this information continue to come out for free, that you help promote me a little bit. I don't think that's too much to ask. That said, watch how fast this thing goes. We're going to be no fluff today. We're going to dive in and cover two slates. Bing, bang, boom. I'm going to show you the players that you should be identifying in the optimizers around the industry that you should be pulling forward and making sure they're in many, many, many of your lineups. And I'll give you a few stacks and a few pitchers to think about too. While we're at it, let's talk about pitchers. Let's dive into the MLB research station at DFSArmy.com. I'm going to do the early slate first. And the way that I do that is I take the time slot filter here, knock off all of the late games, right? Now we're down to just the early games. That's on the trends of the hitters. Let's do the same thing over here on the pitchers since we said we'd talk about them first. You can see there aren't very many to choose from. Small slate. We take K-score. If you don't know what K-score is, Google it. You'll find it. If not, ask me inside the VIP rooms at DFS Army. I'll shoot you the video that explains them in detail. Shane Bieber, top K scorer on the day, strikeout potential. There, I just gave the secret away. Others, crap. No need to really focus on them, but you're going to need more than one, especially if you play Draftkings, in order to consider building different stacks with different combinations and whatnot. But Shane Bieber should be lead dog on the slate. Bing, bang, boom, end of story. What we're going to do now is search by W score. W score is WOBA potential. If I bring the top, the high numbers to the top, that's a lot of WOBA potential. These are guys that could get blown up. Hauser, Howard, Boyd, these types of pitchers. There is no hard and fast number over here, but the slate is giving us about 2 or 3 pitchers to consider when it comes to stacks. I like seeing that they're relatively cheap priced too, because again, pricing algorithms have it kind of figured out. Cheaper pitchers get blown up more often than deeper, better pitchers. DeGrom is not going to be a $6,000 cheap pitcher, if you will. Therefore, he's less likely to get blown up. If you want to play that route, stack against the cheapest pitchers. Pretty simple. But you can use W score as well. It's also a good number. And you can take San Diego, Miami, maybe Cleveland. These are teams that you should be digging into today. Don't need to dig into Milwaukee probably. Pittsburgh maybe. That's just the way I do it, all right? So it's that quick. This is going to trivialize the whole process. But you guys are going to laugh at how simple this becomes, and then you can go do your own research and dive in deeper. You want to see who hits a curveball better than the other guy? Go for it. Be my guest. I'm playing this way and won a GPP last night. Going to win a few more throughout the year. It doesn't really matter how you do it. Baseball is inherently volatile. Pick a system, play the system. This one requires no research. This one, well, very little. You just have to have access to our tools. Early slate batters. Filter them off. 7-day numbers. Greater than 400 or better, right? ISO, 7-day numbers, greater than 200 or better. Those are elite numbers. If they're elite numbers for a season, it stands to reason a hot hitter should be hitting well above that number for the last week or 2 weeks. You want to use the 14-day numbers? Use those. I use the 7-day numbers. It gets me on the wagon and off the wagon very, very quickly. I don't waste a ton of time. I'm just hoping that the guy stays hot for about day number 8 or 9. That's all I want. Because if he falls off the list, I won't be on him tomorrow. So some of your higher numbers in this category, I sorted here by ISO. McMahon, Perez, Tatis, Wendell, Schwarber, Baду, Zunino, Pham. It gives you a wide variety, top to bottom of the order. Baseball's a fluky sport, so these guys are going to get hot and they're going to cool off. If you come over here and do what I've done in past videos, which is sort by ascending order, you bring these guys to the top, you start looking, there's a couple Philly bats, a couple Pittsburgh, a couple San Diego, a couple Tampa Bay. If I saw 3 or 4 from the same team, that would definitely be stack consideration if they're not going against Bieber or DeGrom or something like that. And then again, if they are and you're in a single entry tournament, why not? These guys blow up. These guys get torched for a few runs once in a while. Then you get into the bullpen. And then next thing you know, the wheels keep turning because you get the bad half of the bullpen, and you end up getting very, very low ownership on that stack because you saw something that nobody else saw, which was a hot hitting team rolling into an ace that had a bad day. Okay? Now, go back to the pitchers. We'll do the main slate. That was the early slate. It's just that simple. Change that filter up. Cut out the early games. I'm going to include the 3 o'clock game in the early games, and just do the same thing again. Come over to Chop Shop. Use K-score, largest to smallest. Looks like Ohtani and Wood are the top couple of guys, right? I like a number over 500 for K-score. I don't have a number for W-score, but you can see it's not the strongest pitching slate available in the world because we don't have a lot of guys over 500, right? Use some of these guys, mix them and match them, but don't take these guys down here. They've got no strikeout potential. Avoid them, okay? Now, Ohtani, Wood, maybe Sonny Gray are options of yours. Maybe not the best options, but they've got the potential for tournaments. Okay. Now, who would I stack against? Take the W score. Sort highest to lowest. Zimmerman. Strasburg. Yes, Strasburg. It's shown right here in the numbers. Flexen. Carlos Martinez. Carlos Martinez, coincidentally, was down here in K-score. Cheaper pitchers, Flexen, Zimmerman. So White Sox, Reds, Rangers, Diamondbacks, these guys are all in play in terms of stacks today. Now you've got a few to go key on and go dig into. If you like Oakland, fine. Go ahead. Like Oakland. That's all right. I'm telling you how I'm doing it. I'm telling you who I'm identifying in the simplest way possible to get you rocking and rolling with competitively built lineups. It just doesn't have to be hard. Select all. Uncheck those early games. I'm going to even uncheck the 4:05 game, because usually we start at 7 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock my time. I live in the center of the country because I don't like left, I don't like right, I like to walk the middle. Same diff though. Filtered out by 400, filtered out by 200, right? Bring your big numbers to the top however you're going to do it. You can sort largest to smallest, bring those big old ISOs up to the top, and you're going to find names like Slater, Winker, Seth Brown, Kana. The only thing you might check here is the 14-day plate appearance size. Make sure these guys are getting at-bats. If you see a guy with 5 at-bats, you'd probably discount him. A guy with 20-something at-bats, maybe not getting, maybe coming off an injury list, maybe not getting the playing time that you can depend on for today's lineup. But if you see him pop into the lineup, yes, be tempted to play him. Put him in your stacks. He's hitting hot. That's something you should be keying on. But if you want to go the traditional route, sort A to Z, and let's start looking for multiple bats. Oakland, 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. Oakland against Ohtani. Might be a very interesting tournament matchup. 3 Washington guys going against Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray was on the W score list. That's probably a smarter stack. Washington against Cincinnati. You got 3 or 4 hot hitters in Washington that you can key on. These are just simple ways to parse through a slate, trim the fat off of it, and set yourself up for winning days, okay? It works. You stack them. You choose your optimizer, hopefully DFS Army's Domination Station. I find that's the most controllable optimizer out there. I can set minimum exposures, which a lot of places don't do. I can control my stacking formations, which a lot of places sort of do. And I can definitely get the better mix of players through randomization and through uniques and through actually the way the hybrid scores are calculated or the projections are calculated and shuffled up. I get a lot better mix. I'm not so focused on those top 5 batters, which is great, but others win too, especially when you're dealing with hot hitters. So that would be my tip to you, is take a look at that optimizer. Don't everybody outsources through Fantasy Cruncher these days. That's fine, but I'm finding goofy things on the backside of doing my back testing and such at when I do use Fantasy Cruncher that make me think that something goofy's going on, and I may bring that to light someday. I may not, but if 70% of the world is using roto grinders and Fantasy Cruncher and whatever else, I'm telling you there is a better optimizer out there, not because I represent the company, but because I also play using a lot of these different optimizers, and I'm always testing and back testing and experimenting, and I'm telling you the most controllable optimizer is definitely at DFS Army. To me there is no other discussion. That said, consider becoming a VIP. Use the coupon code CHOP, CHOP, in the description of this video. Like, thumbs up, spread me around on Twitter if you would. I'd love it. Spread me around on YouTube. I'd love it. That helps me keep bringing better information to you, which is really all I'm trying to do, is help you become a better player. Thanks a lot. Split slate Thursday, 2 slates under 10 minutes with a little bit of tip, a little bit of talking through the thing. If you want more talking and more detail, you got to come inside and be a VIP, where you get total access to me and you can ask me much, much more detailed questions, and I will write you a novel for an answer, because I'm a very, very thorough and rather long-winded person. So if you're looking for that kind of help, I'm definitely your guy. Hop on in, say hi to me, and we'll talk to you later. See you on those leaderboards, people. Peace.